All right, good morning. Today we're going to cover both conscious choking adult and conscious choking infant. Okay, tomorrow we'll do the testing out of both of those. It's not very difficult. I'll go through all the material today though to simplify things, and then I'll do hands-on examples tomorrow so you understand clearly. But we do have video clips on how to do it too today. All right. Don't forget, if you have current event and you're in the purple group, it's due tomorrow. All right. I think everybody else is pretty much up to date with everything that needs to be taken care of in this class. So I've got a video clip. It's a good one.
Oh, the office. Kevin, I love this episode.
Whoa, is he jumping?
Kevin?
Turns out Kevin is all the cupcakes.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh my. That actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Kevin. I just saw him on. I saw him on
another.
another show the other day. I can't remember what it was, but he was on something else now. Maybe it was in Modern Family. He was on an episode or something.
Is he in Modern Family?
No, he's not on Modern Family, but I think he was like on an episode. I don't know. I watch all that sitcom stuff because life is too hectic as it is. I try to take the edge off by watching these stupid sitcoms, and I force it upon my children, but they seem to want to watch Minecraft videos on YouTube. And oh yeah, we battle with my house over that. My wife and I battle with the kids. All right, so conscious choking adult and child. Our objective today: identify an individual with a respiratory emergency, whether it's partial obstruction or whether it's a full obstruction from choking, and provide care through back blows and abdomen thrusts. So choking occurs, and we are on page 60 in your packet. Page 60 in your packet. Choking occurs when a person's airway is partially or completely blocked. The definition of the two, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Somebody who has a partially blocked airway, they can still breathe. They can still have some sort of coughing or something like that, where air is being moved out of the body. Somebody who has a completely blocked airway, it's extremely dangerous. They can't cough, speak, cry, breathe, nothing. This is one of those things, you know how I always say, I hope that even though you've taken and learn how to do CPR and AED, I hope you never have to use it. Well, this is something most likely somewhere along the line in the next several years of your life, you will have to help somebody choking. Whether it's an adult, whether it's a child, whether it's a baby. So that's why we teach this. Common causes for adults: trying to swallow large pieces of poorly chewed food, eating while talking excitedly or laughing, eating too fast, playing around and trying to eat at the same time. I always tell this story about Coach Noob, his father-in-law. This is about 5 years ago, I think now this happened. He was gone, Coach Noob was gone the last few days of the school year, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened to Mike? You know, and they're like, well, his father-in-law was eating dinner. He was eating steak. He liked his steak raw. You know, he just didn't like he didn't like it cooked very, very much. He liked it raw. And he ate a big chunk of steak. It got lodged in his throat. And, you know, his wife was there, but she could not get the steak out. By the time the EMT showed up and everything, I mean, she had done everything she could. Everything possible. She tried to give him a Heimlich. She tried to bend him over a table and smash him down and force the air out. Nothing worked. And by the time the EMTs came, you know, he was gone. He was gone. Because remember, if you don't have that air going in the body, obviously the oxygen's not coming in, the blood's not flowing, you're going into cardiac arrest inevitably.
And after that, you have to do CPR.
That's when you do modified CPR, yep. And I'm going to teach you modified CPR next for an unconscious choking adult, because it's not like regular CPR. It has a little, we'll call it a tweak. a little tweak to it. So, choking in kids is the common cause of injury or illness. The kids 5 years or younger. Kids like to put stuff in their mouth. Just the other night, my son, and he's 7, he just turned 7. We were watching TV, and he had just had a birthday party, and he was playing with one of the gifts he got, and in it was like a big silver ball. It one of like his Pokemon things or something. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching, we're actually watching The Simpsons. I know, let my kid watch The Simpsons, I get it. But he and I watched it. And I hear like this kind of rattling sound. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he had this silver ball in his mouth, and he was like lying on his back, and he was already extremely tired. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this kid could fall asleep, choke on this ball, and I'm done. You know, there goes my kid. So I'm like, get that out of your mouth. What are you thinking? Huh? With recommendations from the American Academy of Pediatricians. You shouldn't give your kids no hard or smooth foods, i.e. vegetables, things that are difficult to break down. Nothing brown or firm. Things like hot dogs, carrot sticks, they can eat them, but you really had better cut those up. Not necessarily the carrot sticks, but like a hot dog, kids will choke on that. You have to cut it into pieces.
How do we choke on a hot dog?
Because a hot dog doesn't just dissolve. Think about the size of a hot dog, a kid biting into a piece of it, it getting lodged in their throat. Okay? It doesn't just dissolve. No hard, gooey, sticky candy. No grapes. They say no grapes until after they turn 5. Now here's what I say about grapes. You take that grape, and it's tedious, and you cut it, and you cut it. You cut it into 4s, and a kid can eat it. Because it's the skin on that grape that doesn't break down very easily when you eat the whole grape. You've got to really think about it. When you eat a grape, you've got to chew into it pretty good to break it down. A little kid can't do that if they don't have all their teeth. The other thing up there, popcorn. I'm guilty. We've been giving our kids popcorn since they were all like maybe 3 years old.
Younger.
All right, and we're lucky nothing has ever happened. But you think about popcorn. Sometimes kernels don't pop the whole way. There's that little part of it that's kind of crunchy. That can get lodged in your throat. It doesn't break down. You know. Now what we ended up doing was transitioning to Pirate Booty, which is like popcorn, but it's just kind of melts as you chew it up. Don't give kids gum. Okay, don't give kids gum. Here's a funny story. My daughters, when they were little, especially my daughter Taylor, she used to have these things called Squinkies. And they're really small, little, like, characters. They look like gummies. I mean, they were tiny. Tiny and expensive. Okay? And she had a boatload of them she used to play with when she was really young. Well, my son just started to learn how to crawl, and his bedroom was down the hallway from her bedroom. So he crawls down the hallway one day, and I'm upstairs in my room, which is the next room over, and I hear her, "No, Vincent, no, get out of here." Well, Vincent went over to where she was playing with these little things, and he reached his hands in there, and I go flying in there, and he's got 2 hands full of these little Squinkies, and he's gonna, he thinks they're gummy snacks, you know? And I'm like, no, dude, put those down, you know, get those out of your hand. But, I mean, that's extremely dangerous because they were rubber. You know, examples, continuing with examples of hazardous toys, household items, balloons, scare the daylights out of me. Still with my son, he's 7 years old. You swallow a balloon, it's lodged. How are you getting that out?
Why would you put a balloon in your mouth?
It's not necessarily you're putting a balloon in your mouth, but let's say you're sucking in air, okay? That balloon could get sucked back in. Hello? So from that perspective, you know, it could get lodged in your mouth. Coins, small button type batteries. I'm going to show you an article here in a little bit of a little girl who swallowed a small button type battery and had issues. The marbles, pen caps, markers. You guys probably still chew on pen bottoms at times. You know, that's just some people just do that. It's a nervous habit. But for a little kid, you know, they can swallow that. All right. What you're looking at right there is the universal sign of distress for somebody who's choking. In a nutshell, that person is trying to squeeze their throat, open their airway, and get whatever it is in there swallowed so that they can breathe again. Yeah, squeezing right there. You think it's working, but it's not. You can't make that happen. So if you see somebody doing that, you've got to lend a hand. Okay? Partial obstruction means that they can continue to cough. You want them to cough. It's important for them to cough because they're forcing air. They're forcing air. A completely obstructed airway, much more dangerous. You've got to be much more reactionary. You know, they're not going to be able to cough, speak, cry, breathe. So you've got to respond immediately. You probably, if they have a completely obstructed airway, you probably want to have somebody call 911 right away so that if they do go unconscious and they've gone into cardiac arrest, you have EMTs on the way to help out. All right? Other signs of a completely obstructed airway, there's skin changing color and temperature, high-pitched noise as they try to breathe. You know, they try and give off a cough, but it just doesn't work. So let's look at how to care for an adult or a child.
When something is lodged in someone's throat, the natural response is to cough. If the person is coughing forcefully, he's getting air. Encourage him to keep coughing. If a conscious adult or child can no longer cough, speak, or breathe, he may be choking. Have someone call for help and obtain consent. A conscious adult or child who has a completely blocked airway needs immediate care. Using more than one technique is often necessary to dislodge an object and clear a person's airway. A combination of 5 back blows, followed by 5 abdominal thrusts, provides an effective way to clear.
What was your question?
Wasn't you doing anything?
No, and you're not going to do anything when you demonstrate it either. If he was truly choking, obviously she'd be putting force behind that. But she's just giving a demonstration like you're going to do to prove, or, you know, so I can assess that you understand the procedure.
Clear the airway obstruction. To avoid injury, never give actual back blows or abdominal thrusts to someone who is not choking. These techniques are simulated for training purposes. Provide support by placing one arm diagonally across the chest. Bend the person forward at the waist so his upper airway is at least parallel to the ground. This will help ensure that the object will not go back down the person's throat. Using the heel of your other hand, give 5 firm back blows between the shoulder blades. If the 5 back blows do not clear the airway, give 5 abdominal thrusts. Standing behind the person, use 1 or 2 fingers of one hand to find the navel. Make a fist with your other hand and place the thumb side of your fist just above the navel, in the middle of the person's abdomen. Grab that fist with your other hand. Give 5 quick upward thrusts. Continue to give 5 back blows and 5 abdominal thrusts until the object is dislodged, the person can cough forcefully, speak or breathe, or the person becomes unconscious. If the person becomes unconscious, gently lower him to the ground, protecting his head on the way.
Okay, one thing I want to point out here is the fact that it can happen, and her positioning is pretty good. Okay? What you're going to be required to do when I assess you on this is to make sure you have a foot between your partner, their legs, you know, between their feet. Because if they go unconscious, you want to be able to like lean them back and put them to the side on the ground. You don't want your feet to be off to the side and them to just plop to the ground. Because not only then will you be dealing with an unconscious choking person, but if you bring them around, they potentially could have a concussion. So that's why we do that.
Down. You may need to kneel behind a child to give effective back blows and abdominal thrusts. Do not use as much force with a child.
Additionally, if a person you're giving care to is extremely taller than you can sit them down in a chair and give them the back blows and reach around and give them the abdomen thrusts. Okay? So if they're coughing, encourage them to continue to cough. And that's something that will be part of the assessment that when I go through the demonstration, you'll understand that. You understand the importance of it. It's just not let them do whatever while you try and help them. You want them to continue to help themselves because they, in essence, are by coughing. All right? If it's a completely obstructed airway, you've got to act immediately. Anticipate them going unconscious. Because most likely that's going to happen if they have something significantly locked in there. You still give them the back blows. You still give them the abdomen thrusts. But make sure that you are prepared for them to go unconscious. All right. With chest thrusts, there are two different reasons why you would use them. And I know this is in your packet. This is in your packet. On page 61, halfway down. The two instances in which you would use chest thrusts and not abdomen thrusts are the person is too large to get your arms around them. So really big person, big bellied person I should say, and somebody who is pregnant. The question before that, you should have filled in 5 back blows and 5 abdomen thrusts, by the way. 5 back blows and 5 abdomen thrusts. And it's always in that order. First the back blows, then the abdomen thrusts. When you're giving that chest thrust, you want to go up underneath the armpits, and you want to be up a little higher on the chest, around the breastbone area. We don't want to go down too low, get into where the sternum is, then you've got the chance of breaking ribs and all that stuff. You know, that's not necessary in this instance. If you're alone, this can be a little scary. I recently was talking to a friend who ran into this situation. They were alone, they started choking on something they were eating, and they did exactly what the lady in the top picture did. They leaned over a chair and started forcing air out of their body by banging their stomach on the chair. Okay? The other way is to do what the lady in the bottom right-hand corner is doing, the lady in the purple shirt. She is making a fist like you would make to give somebody an abdomen thrust that you were helping, covering it with her other hand like you will do, and giving herself abdomen thrusts. And trust me, if you do that and you do it correctly, it hurts. What you're going to do with that fist is you're going to put your knuckle of your thumb into your stomach. And when you do that and you pull in and up, yeah, it forces some air. So, okay. This is what I was telling you about. This is an article actually. It talks about a little girl who died from ingesting a battery that got stuck in her mouth, a watch battery, the little lithium battery. You know, kids, young kids like that, when their teeth aren't all in, when they're still developing them, things like that, their gums ache. And what makes their gums feel good is having something pressed against them. That's why they give kids like the rattles and, you know, the teething toys, essentially. And kids will put things in their mouth, and that's what happens. That's what happens. All right, so conscious choking baby. This is about a little girl who, it's kind of twofold what I'm showing you here. It talks about the inadequacy of the 911 system in Washington, D.C. But it also brings to light that when somebody has a choking emergency on something, it's got to be reacted to instantly. Otherwise, this is the long-term repercussion of it, okay? This girl was eating grapes, and this is what happened, and this is how 911 actually reacted.
This is is the Ford F-150, the only pickup with a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Of all the full-size half-ton pickups, it's got the most towing, the best payload, and the highest gas mileage. Plus no body rust. And guess what? This is the safest F-150 ever built. The only pickup to pull the government's 5-star safety rating and earn an IIHS top safety pick. This is the F-150, and Ford F-Series is the undisputed truck leader for 39 straight years.
For 5 days, an 18-month-old boy has fought for his life. He had choked on grapes and suffered cardiac arrest at his Warren Street home last week. Now, his family tells Fox 5 that child died yesterday morning.
My condolences to the family. As you might imagine, I'm sure their hearts are breaking and our hearts break for them.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has reportedly ordered an investigation into why D.C.'s Office of Unified Communication dispatched an ambulance from this station, Station 31, 3 miles away on Connecticut Avenue, instead of from this station, Station 20, which is only just blocks away from the Warren Street home of the child who died.
We have a dysfunctional system.
Kenny Lyons is the D.C. Fire and EMS Ambulance Union president. He says D.C.'s new tablet-based system, which uses hotspots to see which ambulances are closest to an emergency, is reportedly not seeing the right information because the system is dropping out.
It is apparent that the system failed not just the family, but the child. So some of the blame, if not the majority of the blame, has to go on the system.
The timeline is important here. The boy's father reports the first 911 call went out at 8:33. The records obtained by Fox 5 show the first unit was dispatched at 8:40. Engine 31 arrived at 8:47. Truck 12 and Medic 31 arrived at 8:48. Engine 20, just blocks away, was never dispatched. The mayor says it is her job to make sure that the system works correctly.
My job is to make sure we have the best people responding and rendering life-saving aid in every case.
The D.C. Office of Unified Communications said in a statement, quote, "The Office of Unified Communications sent the closest unit available that was logged in with a paramedic." The first responders have told Fox 5 they dispute that because they maintain they were ready to be dispatched, but for whatever reason, the 911 center did not see them in the system. Tom Fitzgerald, Fox 5 Local News.
The DC medical examiners performed an autopsy on the 18-month-old boy, but the results are still pending.
18 months. You know, you wouldn't think that's possible with a child that young, but it is. Okay. Question number 1 up there for you guys on page 62 reflects on, for a conscious choking infant, these are the things you need to do in order to help them. Okay? Use the back blows and the abdomen thrusts, or excuse me, the back blows and chest thrusts. Your chest thrusts on an infant are just like the chest thrust you give them when you're giving them CPR. Exactly. Okay, 2 to 3 fingers right above the sternum, pressing down about 1.5 inches. Positioning them is important. You'll see that when I show you a short video clip here in a second about how you need to have them in an angle while you're caring for them. Because gravity helps in this situation. You can't necessarily be talking to a baby saying, keep coughing like you can an adult or a child, because the baby's not going to be like, okay. All right?
His first word is okay.
And the last thing up there is support the head and the neck at all times. Anybody who's ever held an infant knows that the head and the neck is very wobbly because it's not developed yet. There's no support. That's why you swaddle the baby and have it sleep on its back so it can breathe. Because it can't lift itself up and be able to breathe, it will suffocate. It'll get, you know, it could have SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. All right. So here we go. Conscious choking infant. And I will give you information out of this clip that reflects on what you need to know. No problems.
An infant who is choking cannot cough, cry, or breathe. If the infant is coughing forcefully, let her keep coughing. But if a conscious infant cannot cough, cry, or breathe, assume the airway is blocked. Act quickly to clear the airway. Have someone else call for help, then obtain consent from a parent or guardian if present. Give a combination of 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts to force the object out of the infant's airway. To give back blows, place the infant between your forearms, supporting the head, neck, and back. With your thumb and fingers supporting the infant's jaw, position her face down along your forearm.
Okay, so an infant should always be placed at an angle, downward. That's important. Gravity is helping out in this instance. The arms and legs should be on either side of your forearm. On either side of your forearm. That gives you stability holding that baby. And it should be done like that whether giving back blows or abdomen thrust or ab thrusts. So that's that whole sentence there. Their arms and legs should be on either side of your forearm, whether giving back blows or ab thrusts. Look at her supporting that baby. And her other hand is down here. She's not holding her mouth, she's holding under her chin and keeping the airway open.
With her head lower than her chest. In this position, gravity can help dislodge and expel the object. With the heel of your other hand, give 5 firm back blows between the infant's shoulder blades. Be careful to keep your fingers up so you don't hit the infant's head. To give chest thrusts, support the infant between your arms and carefully turn the infant over so she is face up along your other forearm. Lower the infant to your nearest thigh. Place the pads of 2 or 3 fingers in the center of the chest, just below the nipple line, toward the infant's head. Give 5 chest thrusts, each about 1.5 inches deep. You can give back blows and chest thrusts effectively whether you stand, kneel, or sit, as long as the infant is supported on your thigh and the infant's head is lower than the chest. Continue to give sets of 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts until the object is forced out, the infant can cough forcefully, cry or breathe on her own, or the infant becomes unconscious.
Okay, so the last question on there that you need to know in your notes. You should continue to give choking care to an infant until they can cry or breathe on their own. The object comes out. Or they go unconscious. Okay, so basically what you see there is the positioning of the infant. If you look at them, again, they're holding the infant at an angle. They're actually standing up in this instance. They're holding that infant at an angle under the chin with the airway open so that whatever it is, if it gets dislodged, it will come out. All right? And they're supporting the neck. When they roll them over, they use 2 hands to roll them over. And then they'll look like this, supporting the back of the head, holding the airway open still, using gravity as a tool in this instance with the mouth open. All right. Questions about conscious and unconscious, or conscious choking adult and child, or conscious choking infant? Anything from you guys? So tomorrow, we will do a demo of both of those, and you'll be assessed. You will work with a partner. You will work with a partner. Okay?